Hey, this is Metallic Joe. We recently recorded a podcast at Winterfest here in Philadelphia. It was done completely live. These are the collection of all the sound recordings from our podcast. Please enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live edition of the 240p Club.
Woohoo!
About friggin' time.
Yeah, we were quite busy. It has been exactly 2 months since we last went behind a microphone and started recording. So it's like, okay, it's been forever, so why don't we make something special out of it? So it's like, okay, it's February here on the East Coast. You know, it's February everywhere, but it's particularly it's February right here. And February means winter. So, of course, you know, hey, film at Winterfest here in Philadelphia. You know, ice and, you know, snow and everything. And, of course, like all good plans of the 240p Club, it went horribly wrong. Because Mother Nature gave us a 60-something degree day.
And we all thought we were going to ice skate.
Yeah, we were here like, oh, yeah, we're going to go out there. We're going to ice skate. We're going to, you know, record that. We're going to record, like, people walking by watching us play old Nintendo and be dumbfounded and everything. But, fortunately, we don't have any sort of ice. So, if you could believe it, I have my computer set up here just for some ambiance. And as of right now, I'm playing Blades of Steel. Why? Because we needed something for ice. Yeah, as you can see right here. We have our lovely behind-the-scenes gal Mel here recording us.
Hi, Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi.
And just the rest of the 240p Club, sitting right now to my deep left here.
Hi. I'm Nikki. Nice to meet you all again. Hi.
And next to me.
Hi, it's me, Ray. Hey, shout-outs to everybody I met at MagFest and gave cards to who's listening to this.
Oh, yeah, Ray went to MagFest in the past 2 months. Fortunately, yeah, we've been busy, so we have a lot of topics to cover tonight, which is actually really good for a podcast.
And also, shout-outs to my friends in Team Drunk Control, I think that's their name, for letting me crash at their room for the weekend.
But yeah,
you should check out their YouTube channel.
We have their YouTube channel liked on our YouTube. Yeah, it's Drunk Control. It's Andrew, and I'm not sure his friend's name. What's his friend's?
I know there's this guy named Peter in it.
Peter, yeah. What they do is pretty awesome. They actually record different videos of them. They splice it together with cartoons and movies and stuff, and then you see them playing. It's not limited to old school games, but Mario 3 was a definite playthrough, and that was pretty awesome. They split it up into 8 or 9 parts, where basically they get drunk and record these games. It's kind of like what we do, but not quite drunk and, yeah. I'm working on it, though.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, I'm working on it. This nice part, the bar's still open, at least, so... And mind you, I'm recording this while trying to get through Blades of Steel, which actually I haven't lost into the computer in years. So, you know, this is a special kind of challenge, like recording while I'm playing.
Not unless you have Mason in that.
Of course, refer to Steve Mason of Philadelphia Flyers.
We love you, Steve!
He might be listening.
He is not listening to this.
He might be listening. I just scored. I'm up 3-1. I think I'm coasting at this point. Scored a shorty there.
Sorry.
Yeah, there we go. 3-1. We got the score.
Any other games we can think of that have like nothing but ice or snow in them? I'm thinking Cliffhanger.
I'm not playing Cliffhanger. Okay. Well, we have, in order to better present this to a audience here, we have top 3 lists. We have a lot of top 3 lists to catch up on. We have a few serious topics, but for the most part, we're going to be fun and drunk this podcast.
I need beer first.
Yeah, Nikki needs a beer, which is why you do not have a beer.
Because I have cucumber water.
That's not going to get you drunk.
No.
This will get you drunk. Look, this is a winter beer. This
cucumber
is fantastic.
Water.
Oh, you suck, Ray. I've been denied. I've been denied. Oh, that's yours. Fuck. All right, hold on.
I'm
not that drunk.
He's not.
I know what it is. I'm drinking the same thing you're drinking.
Oh, there you go.
And there we go. I paused it while we're drinking. It's okay. First topic we should discuss here.
Tell
do
us
a
about
serious-
MagFest.
Yes, we'll start from the beginning of January. How was MagFest?
It was a lot of fun. Get this out, I might even have to think.
Oh, well, we're live on video.
Oh, great.
So tell you what, why don't you think about MagFest, and we will...
I did meet a lot of people that I know online, a lot of people from the Retsu Prey community, another shout out to that, and speed runners and so forth. I got to meet Corn Shack, Radioactive Rat, Pear Strike. They're all good people.
Shout outs, of course, to all those people.
Yeah, so Saturday night there was supposed to be this Retsu Prey panel or Retsu Prey involved panel, but that ended up getting canceled. So we all went out to a bar instead, and we had 2 free drinks each because we were at this MagFest.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
I've been meaning to go to that, but I just never had any time.
It's on the list. We will more than likely be continuing 240p Club well into 2018, so you'll see more of a presence there.
But we can always go to too many games.
That as well. There's also a few
I would suggest MagFest as my first. My friends here have never gone to a convention because, they got live music and stuff. They got there's this huge arcade with pinball and old arcade games, new arcade games, and all that stuff. And a console room 2 rooms down. You could set up your own console there, share your experiences with other people or whatever.
Now, would they frown on emulation? If they just brought a laptop because you didn't feel like dragging your console there?
They probably would, but they do have a LAN room there too, I think. I didn't go there personally this year, but hey, if you want to set it up, connect everyone else and
do some old school Quake,
maybe, or play some Kyle or something, that's cool too.
Nice.
Or Unreal Tournament, whatever.
Old school, man.
Whatever.
Back when people used to have LAN parties. Anyway, that's our serious topic for today. We have one more serious topic we're going to discuss. But you know what? We are here at Winterfest. As you can see, we have a beautiful cabin here, or fake cabin, because it opens up right here. But
it feels warm enough to be a real cabin.
Yeah, they have a fireplace. It's actually shooting off heat right now, so this does feel pretty good in here. Yep.
Yeah.
So we shed our hoodie layers and jackets and everything for just nice little heat. Feels really good. Fortunately, there's no ice skating going on right now.
It's all slush.
Yeah, thanks to the fact that it's 65 degrees out.
Thanks, global warming.
Yeah, thanks to global warming.
Thanks, Trump.
Yeah, no, we're not getting political.
Now we're going to be first on his list.
Are we on the Chris Jericho list?
I'm pretty sure Trump
I'll be on
is.
Jericho's list.
Nah. I don't know.
Hey.
Yeah, this is one thing we are adamantly not discussing on the 240p Club is politics.
So let's stop now.
Yeah, but I will throw this one out, though. This is our one and only political message. We don't really give a shit if you're Muslim, Mexican, or whatever, race, religion, creed, or species you claim to belong to. If you're listening to us, you are cool as shit, and we don't really care. We'll defend you to the death to be cool as shit.
Absolutely.
Yes. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyway, Dad, that's me saying I love you all. Except Nikki. Nikki sucks. And yep, you can see her giving me the finger if you're showing the...
With my newly manicured nails.
Yeah, she got a manicure just for this podcast. Up, close up, extreme close up.
I got the manicure just so I could flip you off.
In green. Just like a St. Patty's Day, fuck you.
Yeah,
a month
you're
early.
A month early, yeah.
A month
well,
early.
I'm not Irish, so I can wear green whenever I want.
Yeah, but I have nothing for that.
Exactly.
But you're Greek.
Exactly.
Shouldn't you be wearing blue?
Heck, we could. I am wearing blue. I'm wearing jeans, aren't I?
Yeah, that's not blue enough.
That's a tzatziki sauce.
Yeah. That's what she said.
No! Everybody gets one tonight.
Yes. Shout out to John Falloon who
Hi,
couldn't
John.
make it. He's kicking some ass in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Throwing bodies around and his opponent's bodies hit the floor. There we go. The shot. We gave a good enough shout out to Floon. Cheers. Get horns.
Cheers.
Yeah. This is weird filming this live. We never really, we did this once before, like on a Facebook, like live, just recorded a preview of one of our streams. Now we're recording this. Obviously I'm going to edit some of it, then I edit the video and the audio and everything, but we are recording a portion of this live. This unfortunately is not the portion we're recording live. We're actually going to do some of our top 3 lists. We're going to do a lot of top 3s. This is going to give everyone a chance to think, to go back to some of their most grandest retro gaming memories. And keep in mind, all your answers have to be in the 240p era, which is PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, and back. We'll count Dreamcast because even though that was a next-gen system, we'll count it. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? But yeah, PS1, Saturn, and then way back, all the way to the Atari 2600. And if you are a PC gamer, you know, the Spectrum, the Commodore, Amiga, whatever your preferred weapon of choice is. So, yeah, our topics for tonight, top 3 ice levels of all time. Since we are at Winterfest, and I have to create some friggin' ice by playing Blades of Steel, which obviously does not count. Actually, it might count, but I'm not putting it on the list anyway. But, you know, top ice levels of all time. We're doing 3. And then, in honor of Valentine's Day that we missed because we were all busy, you know, being Valentines or being anti-Valentines.
Especially me.
Yeah, Ray's being
I was busy
anti-Valentine.
with exams, so that was my Valentine.
Yeah, Nikki dated her exam.
This was my Valentine. I actually have it.
Uh-oh, she has her Valentine on her.
Statistics of psychology.
Statistics for psychology.
Woo! Nice little penguin there.
Yeah, oh, they put a penguin on there.
They put a penguin on here.
Just to see how fucked you're going to be the entire semester.
Dude, I am passing this class, so I'm good.
So Nikki was spending a long, hard night on Valentine's Day with her psychology. Was that sociology or physiology?
Psychology.
Spending a long, hard night with her psychology textbook.
I had a psychology exam. I had an algebra exam.
Yes.
I had motor behavior exam, and then I also had a biomechanics exam.
Oh.
So
yeah, you ran the gamut basically. So we also had
it was fun though.
So yeah, for Valentine's, we were proposing top 3 video game couples of all time, feeling the love, and not to be outdone, just in case we're an anti-Valentine's Day that day, the top 3 video game enemies of all time. So we have the top 3 enemies, we have top 3 couples, top 3 ice levels in honor of our Winterfest excursion here. And can anyone else think of a top 3? No?
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Okay, we have nothing else to there. And then of course
we can also do top 3 fighters who fight with ice powers.
Yeah, we could do that. Why don't we put it this way? Top 3 Mega Man weapons. The entire series, 1 through 9. We'll even include 9 to 10. And then we'll include the X series. Top 3 ice weapons in the Mega Man and Mega Man X. Perfect. All right, we have a bunch of top 10 lists and top 3 lists because we're going to save some time. I'm not going to make this really long for our podcast. And apparently, I'm getting a text message from Falloon. He might be joining us.
Yay!
So let's see. Maybe he'll be joining us. Let me text him.
In the meanwhile,
Yeah, Nikki, please.
I'm actually going to switch gears here. We're going to talk about something else. We were talking about just doing top 3s and everything, but there was something a little more serious we did want to mention.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, the whole business with Gamestop.
Oh, yeah, that was one of our main topics for today, actually. What is going on with GameStop? I know this is I know this is a long time problem, but news medias like Kotaku, of all, Cheap Plug, are finally bringing into light like some of the practices going on. And to be fair to Kotaku, because I like the way they did this too. They opened it up. They opened up the forum to people that worked at GameStop, managers at GameStop, anyone associated with GameStop, to respond to their story. And they printed all sides, and basically what I gathered from the responses was not every store is participating in some shady practices.
Mm-hmm. That's true, yeah. A lot of stores will, of course, want to go with their sales and all that, and want a piece of their DMs, but at the same time, they realize that what they're actually doing isn't like criminal, but it's like criminal in the sense of like, why are you robbing out these people? Like,
why don't we discuss like what's going on? Actually, we didn't even discuss like what.
Oh yes,
what
right.
entirely is going on. We hyped this up a bit, but we didn't discuss like the actual payoff. What is GameStop doing that is warranting us talking about it right now?
They are saying that they don't have any new games of certain any new copies of certain games. What they have is they have this whole thing called the Circle of Life, where you buy a used game, you play it for a little bit. They have you can return it within the 7-day.
7 days like grace period, basically.
7 days grace period, and then after that, it becomes a trade-in. So they want you to trade in the game, and then they want the next person to come in, buy the used game, play it, trade it in, etc., etc. The Circle of Life. So what they're also doing is saying that they don't have a new copy of the game, and they want you to buy a used game instead. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's they also they've expanded that too. According to the Kotaku article, they were covering basically pushing that you have to get a certain amount of used sales per month.
Yes.
Like every employee has to, plus like new sales plus trade-ins.
That was always one big thing about GameStop was the quotas. You have to have a certain amount of pre-orders. You have to have a certain amount of card and magazine subscriptions, a certain amount of used games to be sold. And if you sold more new games than used games, it was, I think they actually ended up losing money because of that. The problem is, though, when they would have new games that came out, like say Ubisoft was notorious for this. Their Assassin's Creed games would come out, and within maybe about a month or two, maybe for the holiday season, they would go down to about say $39.99, $29.99, around that range. The used games would be $54.99 or so. The new games would be about $39, about $29 or so. More so, this would also appeal to to casual gamers, like people who would buy games for their children, and they don't really know the difference between a used game and a new game. And if it's a gift, they want the game new. They want it wrapped up. They want it in plastic. They don't want to come to a birthday party or Christmas or so, have the kid open it up and say, like, why is my game already used? Like, what is this?
Yes. Yeah. The thing I gathered is they were hiding like a lot of these like new games and trying to sell the used games in order to meet quotas.
Yes, they would say that we are actually out of this copy.
What I gathered also, this wasn't happening at every store. Every store had a manager that handled this policy a little differently. A couple managers were messaging saying they would save used sales, like make sure everyone met their quota. Like if someone was attempting to buy a used game, they would pass them off to another sales associate who didn't meet her used quota or new quota yet. So there was, there's some flexibility with this. However, it is an underhanded practice by a company that's losing a lot of business right now because they're losing sales to people just, instead of going out to the store and buying a physical disc, they just go on to the Xbox Live or the PlayStation Network, just download it.
They'll also use GameFly as well.
Yeah, GameFly as well. It's another service that has been eating into their business. And of course, some of the other chain stores like Walmart and Best Buy have exclusive content. Like if you pre-order with them, you get an exclusive download. Pre-order with Walmart, you get a different exclusive download. So GameStop's like losing some business here. Also, with a lot of it's going the way of the CD and everything with digital media, because you can just download anything. And if you have a catastrophic hard drive crash, it's saved. You have an account with Sony, let's just say, it's saved, so you can re-download all these games for free. That you paid money for. So you never have to own a physical copy. It's just when the technology goes obsolete, then you lose your copy, which is completely different from our era where you bought the physical cartridge copy and you had the physical cartridge, and you sold it used. You went to Funkoland back in the day, which many GameStops became. Funkoland became GameStop. You had to basically buy used stuff for like $4.99, $5.99 for Nintendo, some of the Nintendo games they had, and then they didn't really have a system, I don't think, where you had to get a certain quota.
Oh no, I think the quotas are fairly recent, like within the last 10 years or so, I'd say. It was always about the quotas, but luckily there were some, like when you say employees who would pass it on to another sales associate. Like luckily some stores were like that. Other stores that I knew about were that's okay. Sorry. Were very what's it, like dog eat dog, whereas it would be, hey, I know your sales are slipping. Well, tough luck, kid.
Oh yeah, yeah. It depends on what store you're at with manager, I guess too. Managers.
Every store is run different.
Because a lot of these chain stores, they put people into management positions that had no business being in management positions, which is true with almost every job in the world. Almost. Look at Capcom. Oh, did I say that out loud? All right. We are going to take Konami. Oh, great. We're gonna take a little break. Figure out a technology situation. We'll be back. All right, we are back. Well, we've been live. We've been live on Facebook. Mel's recording us right now. However, hi Facebook land. However, we're officially live here at Winterfest. Recording our podcast for iTunes. And just like we covered before, we are going to be recording our top 3 winter levels, ice levels, etc., in the 240p era. We're going to be recording our top 3 Mega Man ice weapons. That includes Mega Man X and, Mega Man's 1 through 9. Or to 10. Mega Man's 1 through 10. Also, we are recording, for Valentine's Day, our top 3 video game couples and our top 3 video game villains. Why? Because not everyone celebrated Valentine's Day. All right.
It was
now,
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Nikki got very acquainted with her textbooks and studied them.
And passed all my exams.
Yep, completely passed her exams. Awesome.
Woo!
Good job, Nikki.
I haven't even had midterms yet.
And Ray, what did you do the past few weeks?
Play video games.
That is a very good answer, especially for this podcast. Actually, yeah, before we get into our top 3 list, what have you been playing?
Well, as of last month, I recently beat Final Fantasy II. I'm not talking about the one that was released here in the U.S. initially as 2. I'm talking about the
Japanese?
Yeah, the Japanese one, originally for Famicom.
What version did you play? Did you play the Famicom version or the remaster?
Yes, I did. I played the Famicom version, the fan-translated one. Managed to beat the whole thing. I would argue definitely not the best game in the series.
It took a lot of risk because it eliminated the leveling system. That's something we didn't see till 10.
Well, yeah, this was I mean, this was when the series was in its infancy. They were like still experimenting, which arguably they're still doing nowadays with the whole bunch of recent changes that the latest couple installments have made. This one has like a leveling system where you, in theory, you get. There's no experience. Instead, you would get stat increases
based on like what weapon you're equipped,
based on what happens in each battle you fight.
How much
like,
damage you get.
Like if you attack several times in one battle, you'll get like attack ups. If you get hit a lot, you'll get increases to your hit points. That sort of thing. How it ends up really working is you just like spend like an hour or so wheeling, like with your own characters wheeling on each other to get hit point increases, and then you just like along with other stat increases, magic increases and whatnot, you just like sort of breeze through everything, I guess. That's another thing. There's no like 3-tier or 4-tier magic system like there is. Instead, you get like a base spell and you just level that up for the rest of the game. Like you teach a character a fire or a cure spell at the beginning of the game. That's what you have like for the rest of the game, unless
and it levels up.
Unless you trash it for something else, and it can be extremely tedious to do that.
I know 2 was also infamous for disposable characters. Like almost everyone died in that game.
Like when you start the game, you name a 4th character, and he's supposedly killed off like after the intro fight, and from there on out for the rest of the game you have like this revolving door of characters that fill up the 4th slot. Like you have this white mage named Min or Minwoo, you have like a monk named Joseph, and these were all like first for the series. These were the first like named characters to fill these certain roles, like officially named by Squaresoft.
Yeah, because the first game was basically you pick your own party, and you know your own class of your party and everything, and they were just known as the Light Warriors.
And Layla, technically the first thief, even though there was no Steel Command until like 6, I think.
No, there's one at 5.
Yeah.
No, 4. I'm sorry, Edge Castile.
Yeah. It wasn't. I think it wasn't until like 5 or 6 that you could like steal items that were actually of some worth.
Oh yeah. Because 3 had a Steel Command as well for the thief class, the thief job, I should say, but it was useless. Like it never worked. Even if you leveled up high, there's nothing you could really acquire through stealing.
I beat that recently as well, and in practice, the thief class is really just a physical attacker that can open doors without like magic keys. It had magic keys like in the first Dragon Warrior.
It managed to do a good amount of damage with the thief too, but everyone knows that the wisdom was a red wizard or sorcerer. A party of sorcerers just like tear apart anything in the final dungeon.
Are we still talking about 3 or just
3?
The first one?
3. Yeah. Actually, yeah, we're not going to turn this into a Final Fantasy Love Fest. That's podcast number 6, because we cover our top Final Fantasy games, but I've been playing the hell out of 10. I know that's PlayStation 2, that's beyond the 240p era, but that was the game I've been playing the most recently, and it's just been like extremely addicting. I don't believe I skipped over it in its like, you know, original state, like I played it, you know, more recently.
I'm still playing.
Fantastic.
I'm still playing Record Keeper. I think I'm the only one here who still is.
No, I logged in, got some bonuses and stuff, but I haven't really been keeping up with it. It's tedious to do it every day, and then you know schedule times to play it because your stamina is at a certain point. You know, so I've just been doing like some of the special event quests they've been having, and you know, shutting it off.
Yeah, at this point I have beaten all the realms, so there's not much to do outside of like events.
Yeah,
I ran out of space on my phone for it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, it's a good segue into our next topic, which is top 3 video game couples. All right, video game couples. Basically, since the Nintendo censorship kind of limited, you know, couples and everything. However, there were still some couples in the Nintendo era that were vitally important. Of course, Sega didn't give a shit, so, you know. But in all its 8 and 16-bit glories, here are the top 3 couples of all time. Now, number 3 might be a controversial choice. However, I do feel that they are relevant, again, considering Steam just put out a 4th game. And cheap plug, you know, go on Steam. You'll know what I'm talking about in 1 second. You want to download it. It's an 8-bit style. It's not a true 8-bit, but it's really good. And of course, I am talking about the Double Dragon series, and I'm talking about Billy Lee and Marion. The whole point of the first game is to rescue Marion from the clutches of Billy's twin brother Jimmy, which they don't really explain why he kidnapped her in the first place. In the second game,
typical little plot devices.
Yeah, and then in the second game, you team up with the Jimmy you just beat the crap out of to save your girlfriend in order to avenge your girlfriend that was killed in the beginning of Double Dragon 2. However, hence the title The Revenge. However, you know, she does, if you beat the game, she revives, etc., etc. Typical Nintendo. However, you know, what girl is worth beating up an entire gang that has taken over the entire city?
Jessica Hager?
No. That's more a father-daughter thing. We're talking about, like, you know, couples
Well,
here.
Cody joined him.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And then she left him in the second game.
Yeah, see, that's why she's not, like, on the top couple. Marion stayed with Billy Lee.
Well,
and
yeah.
Billy and Jimmy took on an entire city's worth of gangs in order, including some supernatural stuff, in order to wind up with his girl. Fantastic. True love right there.
True love.
Alright, number 2 in our top couples list, Can You Feel the Love, is, this is an obvious one. Come on. Princess Toadstool, or Daisy. I'm not sure her full name. Is it Daisy Toadstool, or...
I believe it was Peach.
Peach. Well, who the fuck's Daisy, then?
Daisy, I believe, was reintroduced in the later era Mario games.
Yeah, no, she was the princess in Super Mario Land, which I don't know, it had an alien and no Koopas to deal with.
Right, I think she was reintroduced into the series.
She only appears in the side games like Mario Party and so forth.
Gotcha.
Now they have, like, Rosalina as a new princess, too. So.
Rosalina?
Yeah, she was in Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh, did she wind up with
I don't know
Wario,
if she ended
or...
up with Mario exactly, but...
Mario's like a princess pimp there.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think the movie tried to do a whole Luigi with Daisy business.
Yeah.
But we're not discussing the movie.
The movie is completely out of canon. The actors knew it was a piece of shit.
I haven't actually seen it since it was in theaters.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's going to be one of our podcasts. We're going to sit right in front of the TV and watch Mario Brothers. I'll figure it out somehow how to do a copyright.
It somehow managed to be even worse than the Street Fighter movie.
Yeah. Oh God, that Street Fighter movie too. But
really,
we're talking about we're talking about couples though, and the number 1. All right, number 2. Why is Mario and the princess such a couple? It's because he saved her numerous times from Bowser, and she still had a sense of humor above it all. When you rescue her in Mario 3, she's like, "Ha, but our princess is in another castle." Ha, gotcha.
Best part about her is when she starts hitting people with frying pans.
What game?
I believe this is fairly recent. This was mainly one of her movesets in Super Smash Brothers, but
Makes sense. But
I kind of canonize it.
But she was a badass in Mario 2, which
I know.
Yeah, she was the only character that could float. Somehow she could jump and float.
It's all in the skirt.
Yeah, it's probably she had like rocket jets in her skirt or something. I don't know. Video game logic. Yeah. All right, the number 1 couple of all time, and I dare anyone to argue otherwise. We got a countdown here.
Da, da, da.
You ready? Sonic the Hedgehog and his rings. Why? Because Sonic would literally die without rings.
How romantic.
Yeah, Sonic would die. He gets hit by all his rings, run away, and then he has to go chase them. This is a match made in video game heaven.
I know.
Can we get to the real first couple now?
I know tons
What's
of people.
the real first couple?
Link and Zelda.
I know tons of people are like spurging out because, it's supposed to be Amy Rose, but that's totally one-sided. He doesn't like her. Yeah,
maybe
I only really know.
Did you ever think of that? Maybe he has feelings for a boy hedgehog. That's fine. Not judging. I'm just saying.
I'm thinking Princess Sally, but she's not really canon. Who cares?
Yeah, that was the comic book / Saturday morning cartoon.
Fox McCloud and Crystal? It really doesn't.
Nah, we'll do Link and Zelda for number 1. Why? Because it's Link and Zelda. And it's confusing as fuck because Link has saved a different Zelda numerous times. And they've explained it a couple times in canon. Basically, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2 are in their own universe. Basically, Zelda 1, you rescue a princess named Zelda, who they save the land with the Triforce of Wisdom and Power. And hence, it's named Triforce, so what happened to the third part? Courage. Oh, that's Zelda 2. Link is a year older and realizes that the Princess Zelda that he saved was named after a princess named Zelda, who was placed under a sleeping spell. What is it, 1,000 years? Or however long it was in this story?
So.
Yeah, for years. Placed in a sleeping spell held in the Eastern Palace in Hyrule. And basically, you have to rescue her with the Triforce of Courage in order to wake her from her eternal slumber, essentially. And the king was so grieved the fact that the princess. And hey, we're getting joined by Falloon, so we're gonna have a 4th member here. Thank you.
Yay!
But yeah, basically the king was so distraught that his daughter was placed under a sleeping spell and not able to be woken up that he decreed that every princess in the kingdom be named Zelda immediately after. Now, keep in mind, Zelda 3 was different timeline, Link to the Past, Wind Waker is a different timeline. It's basically, these are all in canon, but completely different timelines.
Excuse me for 1 second, 240 people.
Nikki's gotta run, she's gotta fart.
Probably.
Yeah. But anyway, that is why Zelda and Link will be a number 1 couple, because no matter what timeline we focus in, they wound up together. Alright, we got me and Ray here. Nikki's coming back.
I can see us.
Hi, Ray can see us. Ray's actually on Facebook Live looking at the stream. Did you like it, Ray?
Let me see some angry emotes.
Yeah, we want some angry emotes only. No, I don't know. Whatever emote you want to give us. Alright, Ray's good. Angry emotes. Alright, the follow-up topic. Top 3 video game rivalries. These are two, the hero and the arch protagonist. Two that completely hate each other. Nikki's back. Just in time for our protagonist.
Actually, there is, going back to the last topic, and there is one more couple I wanted to mention. Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade.
No.
Hey, they count. They actually really don't count.
They don't count. You know why? Because we're doing the 240p error. They didn't get together officially in canon until Mortal Kombat 9, which is on PS3.
Which actually, they don't even let you know that they got together until the next game where their daughter shows up.
Yeah. But they got together in the movie, which, the movie's kind of out of canon, but in canon, because
we all knew that they would eventually get together.
Yeah. I'll put it to you this way. The Mortal Kombat movie was more in canon than any of the other video game movies up until that point, so.
Anyhow.
Alright, top 3 video game enemies. These are people that hate each other, and for those of you that had a miserable Valentine's Day, take solace in the fact that some of us are with you here, and, we're going to talk about our enemies here. What is our third place enemy here?
Is this a collaborative list?
Yeah, sure.
I would say this should be a number 1, but how about from Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, whatever, the Gargoyle, the red armor?
Please elaborate, because I sucked so bad at that game, I've never gotten to it.
The first one, you mean?
Yeah,
he's in the very first level. Because, he's the red gargoyle, the one that, flies around, swoops at you. He's
the one you can't kill, basically.
Probably like the hardest normal enemy in the game, basically.
And, the first level.
He's so infamous. He actually got his own spin-off series, Gargoyle's Quest.
Oh, they had a couple. Gargoyle's Quest 2, which is on Nintendo. The first one was on Game Boy.
I am currently playing the first one. I haven't played through the series yet.
Now, is that like an RPG or is that more an adventure game?
It's more like a side-scroller adventure game. You go through in like an overhead view to get to each level.
Good.
And eventually you'll have like random encounters where you can get like money and stuff, but it's basically a side-scroller.
Yeah. All right. Well, Sir Arthur, that's his name, right?
I believe his name is just Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur and the Red Goblin. Great third one. Great third choice.
Red armor.
Yes. Number 2.
I'm actually going to keep it in the Mortal Kombat realm, and I'm going to go with
Sub-Zero
and Scorpion.
Scorpion hated Sub-Zero so much that he came back from the dead to kill him.
Yeah, if that doesn't say I hate you, I don't know what else does.
There's an infamous, being a feud in the first Mortal Kombat, and it extended through all the other Mortal Kombats, even though he was conspicuously absent in Mortal Kombat 3. But he was wound up in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, finally. Interesting. They explain the story in Annihilation. Well, not Annihilation, in the Mortal Kombat 9, how the original Sub-Zero killed him, and then, Sub-Zero was killed and became Noob Saibot, which is a hidden character from Mortal Kombat 2, which is the developer's names backwards. He was like a shadowy ninja, etc., etc. They made him part of official canon, but, forget the 16-bit era. No, it's working. No, there we go. For the 16-bit era, we, please call Falloon because he's calling us.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be joined by Falloon in just a second here live. And our number 1 video game rivalry of all time, I'm going to keep it, we're going to develop a theme here. The Mega Man era. We have Dr. Light and Dr. Wily. Mega Man really is just a pawn in this whole thing. He's Dr. Light's basically protege.
Of course, Dr. Wily and Dr. Light started out as associates, like partners.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Wily decided he wanted to use it for power rather than good.
Yeah, he realized what he had in those... The first Mega Man bosses were built by Dr. Light. And he realized what he had in the field of robotics. You had, the 6 bosses, then you had Proto Man, which is the very first one they built, and you had a robot named Rock, and then you had a robot named Roll.
It seems more like pragmatism, because Dr. Wily actually, turned the first set of robots hostile, and as far as I recall, Rock actually offered to, go and fight these, maverick robots.
So they turned him into Rockman, or translated to the U.S. audience as Mega Man. Mm-hmm. So they had a rivalry going, stretching how many sequels, including the X trilogy, because they made their way into the X series. Mm-hmm. If you haven't played X5, you'll figure out exactly how they do it. But yeah, they.
If I recall, Zero was originally made by Dr. Wily.
Yeah, he was.
That's how the whole.
You realize that I think in X4, I think they have a video of him being unearthed in a Wily capsule.
I think Zero might have actually been the source of the Sigma virus that eventually became the domain of Sigma.
Yeah, so that falls under number 1. It's for the reason that it lasted not 10 sequels. There are 10 sequels. There's X, and then there's 5 Game Boy games. There's a Game Gear game, and there's just it's 7, 8. For Super Nintendo, it stretched for a lot of systems. Even though it's out of canon, Mega Man Battle Network, Mega Man Legends. These are all out of canon, but the hate for Wily was real. So hence, basically, we have our top enemies there. All right, we are going to take another break and do our next 2 top 3 lists. So stick around. Well, obviously on Facebook Live, you're not going to stick around because we are cutting off for now. Check out the rest of the podcast when you get a chance. The 240pclub.com. We will post the entire podcast once it's edited. This should be actually tomorrow because I'm thinking I'm going to edit it tomorrow. So we will have a podcast up and ready for you guys. Also, if you are checking us out on Twitter, keep tweeting, retweeting us, twitter.com/240pclub, facebook.com/240pclub, which you are no doubt on right now. So, cheers everyone, we'll be right back. Alright, we're back with part 3 of our podcast here today. And look who decided to join us!
Yay!
His name is John Cena! No, he's not. You're not John Cena. You're John Falloon. Big difference.
He kind of has amnesia right now, so...
Yeah, he'll be Butthead then. Review this with someone.
I think he's Butthead.
Yeah, that's Butthead.
Yeah, he's more Butthead.
Okay.
Boothead.
So does this make me Daria?
Oh my God! Please tell me I'm not Stewart.
You're Stewart! No, you'll be Todd. You're cool enough to be Todd.
All right, I'm Todd.
That means
Yeah, you
I'm
kind of have to
Stewart.
look at your like jacket and all, like Todd.
Oh, you can be Beavis.
Oh, a little bit.
Yeah,
Todd's cool.
Beavis is definitely the more artistic one. So, yeah.
Todd's cool. He beats people up.
All right, enough my judge. We'll be doing the Twitch playthrough of Beavis and Butthead someday. Which actually does feature Daria, I believe, doesn't it? The Genesis version of Beavis and Butthead? I'm not mistaken. I think she does appear. I think it's like more an Easter egg than anything.
It was like taking a dump.
She wasn't taking a dump in the game.
I would hope not.
That would not pass even Genesis' standards of censorship back in the day.
Sega!
Anyway, as we were.
Yeah, we were discussing, there are 2 more topics. Top 3 ice levels in 240p history, meaning PlayStation 1 and back. Since we are at Winterfest and now the ice rink is apparently open.
Half of it, at least.
Yeah, half the ice rink's open, so you can skate around. And also, we are doing top 3 ice weapons for Mega Man. This includes Mega Man X series and all kinds of other Mega Man games. No Mighty Number 9.
Not including Mighty Number 9.
We're not having a 4-hour, credit sequence.
Nope, not happening. Alright, so top 3 ice levels. Number 3.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Well, okay, I enjoyed the Vanilla Domes of Super Mario World, but I'm actually going to go a little more obscure, maybe, and I'm going to go with Singing Mountain in Chrono Trigger.
The remastered Chrono Trigger, actually, because Singing Mountain wasn't in the original.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it will count.
It could count.
Since I had this on my list, maybe a tie Death Peak from Chrono Trigger, but that's not my entry, my official one at least.
Oh yeah, no, we'll do a tie. Death Peak and Singing Mountain. Singing Mountain was a bonus dungeon included in the DS remaster of Chrono Trigger, which is amazing. They retranslated the storyline and added, again, a bunch of bonus dungeons.
Death Peak was not fun.
Death Peak, you know what? I had Magus in my party. Death Peak was extremely fun because all those little ghost things, one fire two took them out.
I'm gonna try not to do major spoilers. This isn't a big one since this is a pretty well-known fact, but this is in the far future where Lavos has pretty much already destroyed the world. So the boss of the mountain is basically you have to fight these 3 spawns of Lavos.
You get to figure it out
as you go up the mountain.
Lavos in Chrono Trigger, Lavos conquered the world in 2300 AD. He conquered it in 1999 AD. This is 300 years afterwards. He already took control of the world. It's basically using the Earth at this point for, the machines. Machines took over Earth. and he's using it to basically spawn and send his spawns into space for different worlds to devour. But yeah, Death Peak is basically where you find most of these spawns, and
there's something weird I never thought about. The name for Lavos came all the way back in 65 million BC, and he didn't really emerge until 1999 AD. So he really had the same name for that whole time, like nobody else.
Yeah. Well,
his name didn't get lost to the records.
Well, Lavos was actually, I believe Ayla says what it means. She translates it to fire.
Here's a theory about that, actually, not to deviate from our topic, but here's a theory I had about that. Lavos has tremendous psychic power. So you'd have to imagine that, his name Lavos basically was transmitted psychic to all the facets of history, to the point where, anyone that has to know his name, referred to him as Lavos, and, like the Queen of Zeal referred to him as Lavos, and basically was taken over by Lavos, but that's a different, story. But yeah, it basically echoed through the history, thanks to the fact that, it's a time machine, the name Lavos stuck around for 65 million years. So, anyway, our number 2 ice level of all time, I'm going to go way back, the original Mega Man, Iceman's level. Iceman's level was a bitch. I hated Iceman's level.
If I remember correctly, wasn't it the debut of the Yoku blocks?
Yeah, the disappearing platform, disappearing and reappearing blocks. You had to memorize the pattern in order to get over the wall. Of course, you also had the weapon, the platform weapon you found in Elec Man stage, if you wanted, to technically get through it quicker, but then we consider that cheating. You should have learned the patterns and figured it out.
Easily the most broken weapon in the entire series.
Yeah, that is. It's really broken. Yeah, there's a lot of glitches in the original Mega Man. They've since fixed, but no, that level was ridiculous, and it was the first introduction, I think, really to an ice level in Nintendo that I'm aware of. Where basically walking caused you to slide. You had some frozen lakes, and you had to figure out these blasted platforms. So, yeah, due to this sheer challenge of this level, that's our number 2. And our number 1 level of all time, ice level.
Honorable mentions first?
Huh?
We do honorable mentions first?
Okay, all right. We want to do an honorable mention. Let's do some honorable mentions.
Well, I was thinking about the 3s of the biggest series ever in that 16-bit war. Mario 3 ice level and Sonic 3 ice level.
The Sonic 3 ice level was really good. Basically you started off on a snowboard, unless you're Tails, of course.
Let's not forget the rumor that Michael Jackson sort of did the theme for that level.
Oh yeah, we actually all the themes actually of that game.
Has anyone ever confirmed that?
No one was ever able to confirm it. And obviously Michael Jackson being dead, we can't confirm it now. But, that's in there. And speaking of Sega Genesis, I didn't want to include this, but I did want to include this. NHL 94. Why? Because it's the greatest hockey game.
I was just going to say that.
It's the greatest hockey game ever released. People are still hooked on this game to the point where they're making NHL 94 with updated 2017 rosters. If you have a moment to Google it, check it out, please. But NHL 94 was a classic, great game, loved it. But fortunately, we can't count it. Why? Because hockey ice, it's a simulation. It's not like a platform game where you're all of a sudden on a special ice level. For number 1, what is our best ice level of all time?
Well, we already went over Mario 3. Can I single out a specific level from that game?
Absolutely.
Of course you can.
World 6, Level 5 from Super Mario Bros. 3.
If anyone is not aware what Ray is talking about, this level was a nightmare if you couldn't figure it out. It's basically an underground cavern with a couple pipes that looped repeatedly. The only way you can exit is to get a First off, you had to get a leaf in order to become Raccoon Mario.
You had to have a leaf. Then you had to figure out that the exit pipe was at the top of the level. It was behind a bunch of nibblers, which were like little piranha plants, and a bunch of blocks.
And the only way you can pass this level without cheating is to get a shell, fly with the shell in hand, try to reach it to the top before the turtle popped back out, before the Koopa popped right back out. And you had to kick the shell in order to take out the piranha plants and the little blocks. This was a bitch. And you can, the only reason you would submit yourself to this torture,
your reward for doing this is a hammer suit that you can take with you and equip anywhere.
Yes, is basically you got to a Toad's house with a hammer suit. This is the only reason you would do this level. And the hammer suit was worth it. To be fair, there are plenty more in this game. There are a few actually in levels. There was one in level 610.
I forget which level in particular you pretty much needed it.
The mini fortress in level 7.
I'm thinking more like 7-9, the one with all those fire-spitting nibblers.
That was tough, but that wasn't like impossible.
I don't remember the exact number. I think it was 7.
You could beat that without a suit. 7, the second mini fortress, not the one that's completely deserted, but the second one with the pipes and all the piranha plants and everything. You absolutely needed a hammer suit to beat that, or else you were not going to have a good time trying to beat that level. Anyway, that's our top ice levels. Now, going to the Mega Man series, we covered Mega Man. Top 3 Mega Man ice weapons. Because every boss seemed to have something that either froze something or froze time. Number 3. We're going to go with the, I forget what it's called, Mega Man X, the weapon you got from Chill Penguin.
Shotgun Ice.
Shotgun Ice, thank you, Ray.
I googled it.
The Shotgun Ice was, honestly, you should go after that first. But this is the only weapon in the Mega Man series up to that point that actually froze a boss, aside from the Flash Stopper. But you had to actually connect with this. It froze the boss solid, meaning Spark Mandrill. You froze him solid. He broke out of the ice, charged you with a punch. You could freeze him again. Basically interrupted his it interrupted his momentum to the point where he wasn't moving. It was a great weapon. It was quite powerful. We loved the Shotgun Ice. Now, number 2.
I would rather mine be number 1. Nikki, what is your choice? Do you remember?
Oh, I don't even remember the one that I said over the break.
Alright, I'll go with another one. We're going to go with the Flash Stopper from Mega Man 2. This is a weird choice because the weapon itself was not ice-based. You got it from a boss named Flashman, who basically flashed the screen and froze Mega Man in his path.
It's a Kodak moment.
But however, the level, Flashman's level was completely covered in ice, and it was one of the only time stopper weapons I could recall.
That unlocked Vanilla Ice.
No, it didn't lock Vanilla Ice. It helped you get through a level. Quickman's level in particular had these little energy beams that used to shoot out, and it would instantly kill you if connected. Now, this is one of the hardest parts of the game. Now, there's nothing in Wily's Castle even remotely close to this hard. And the Flash Stopper would freeze these beams in their tracks. And basically, you just had to hurry through the level and hope you didn't connect with anything, and basically try to get through all these beams to basically the very bottom of the level. Of course, the Flash Stopper also worked for the boss, but chances are you didn't have enough energy at that point to use it.
Well, you could spend like an hour memorizing and figure out how to like it's imprinted in my brain now how to do it without like the flash stopper. So,
To this day, this is one of my biggest video game embarrassments. I still can't do that.
I'm still quite trying to figure out how to be Quickman without the flash stopper, but
He's
that's a
easy.
story for another day.
It's basically either the regular weapon or the heat weapon. The heat weapon works against him. I found that out through experimentation. All right, number one Mega Man ice weapon.
Da, da, da.
And this is my choice now. I'm going to go with the original from Mega Man 1, the Ice Slasher from Iceman. It's pretty straightforward. You just shoot like this beam of ice, and it freezes whatever it hits for like 2 seconds.
It was awesome for those big eyes.
Yes, if like every Mega Man game has like this big enemy that takes a bunch of hits to kill, but the big eye from the first is easily the most infamous. It takes off like a quarter of your health if it hits, and especially like if you're in the first Wily stage where you have to go through like 3 or 4 of them in a row before you get to anything else, it's invaluable to use it to get through it.
Yeah, it bears noting that Mega Man 1 was probably the most difficult of the original 6. It was no energy tanks. You had to fight for the last level. You had to fight 5 bosses in a row.
I would argue that 3 is tougher, but 1 is up there.
Oh, I've beaten 3 pretty easily. 1, forget it. Personally, 1 is up there. It's my toughest Mega Man. But anyway, that covers our top Mega Man ice weapons of all time. And also, that comes to the conclusion of our live podcast here at Winterfest. We recorded, we've done well. Hopefully you like us.
We've done very well.
Yeah. Check us out. Plug us to your friends. 240pclub.com or facebook.com/240pclub or twitter.com @240pclub. We also have an Instagram now. Nikki, what's our Instagram? You remember?
Yes, 240p Club.
Oh, of course. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Would it be anything else?
No, it wouldn't be.
Exactly.
Yep.
So follow us anywhere.
Follow us, like us, enjoy us, share our
us.
podcast, whatever you feel like doing.
Share our Dreamcast.
Share our Dreamcast. Oh, I want to leave it on one last note. Floon, you will love this. Did you know that there is a podcast, oh my god. Did you know that there was a Dreamcast currently offered on eBay, signed by Fred Durst, of all people, of Limp Bizkit?
I just saw it this morning.
Why? Did he have a game that came out for it?
No, apparently it's his podcast, and Limp Bizkit is not selling anything right now, so they need their money.
I don't think that's true, but that is hilarious.
So buy Fred Durst's old Dreamcast.
Thank you, Dreamcast.
You might get a copy of DJ Hero with it.
I'll leave you with that thought.
And let's all like send him the best that hopefully he's rolling in the dough soon.
Yep. Hopefully he does it all for the nookie.
You guys are fired.
And if not, he'll break stuff.
You're all fired.
Yeah.
The Dreamcast might get broken, but it'll be rearranged.
Come on, you gotta have faith.
You guys make me want to break stuff.
I hate you all.
From all of us at the 240.
Go to the boiler room.
From all of us at the 240p Club.
I'll fight you for $2 bills, y'all.
It's gonna be it might be counterfeit, so be careful.
He'll take his currency in $3 bills, y'all.
With the hot dog flavored water fish or something. It was.
Stars. I forget.
I don't remember what the hell it was.
It's basically slang for asshole.
Yeah.
Anyway,
chocolate starfish and a hot dog flavored water.
How do we know all this?
Why do I know that?
You didn't know? Yes, better call Fred Durst.
Get out of here, all of you.
Well, Nikki's having a fit. I'm going to remind you all that we love you, 240p Club listeners. We all love you, even Nikki. Right?
Slightly.
Especially Nikki.
Slightly.
Yes.
As much as my blackened heart can love.
Yeah. All right. Cheers for the 240p Club. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.